All right, well, we should be live. I say we should be live, and I'm going to start going at this. Hello, everybody. I'm on a wonderful Tuesday night. Just got done with the science call, and we're getting ready to start going. And hello, everybody. And we sent out some guests. We'll see if we have some people coming in. Oh, John Dager. Hello, John. We'll add you in. There you are, John. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Thanks, George.
Got some feedback there. I'm going to shut that down. All right, perfect. Well, some other people coming in too. So I was getting some feedback from you there on your mic, but we're good. So we're going to talk about, the clock's chiming. Must be 9 o'clock. Can you hear the clock going? The grandfather clock behind you? Okay. So we're going to talk about metabolic health tonight. And we just got off a national call on menopause and perimenopause and insulin resistance. And oh my goodness gracious, that was a walk through the forest with all the information we have there. So, but we learned more about insulin resistance. And so that's kind of the big thing. But just real quickly, would you agree that metabolic health is an issue in America? Would most of you agree that that is true? Absolutely. Not in the next 10 years, 5 years, you think it's going to go up or is it going to go down? Will it increase? And absolutely, it's going to increase. And would you agree that most Americans spend $6 to $10 a day on breakfast, sodas, smoothies, candy, chips, power drinks, and snacks? I think it's even at least that, but most people don't know because they use their debit card. Mostly they would know if they paid cash, but most people don't pay cash, do they? They always pull out the plastic and they have no clue. They just pay their bill whenever, right? So we're going to talk about these issues. And the big thing is that 93% of Americans, adults, are metabolic. There's less than 7% that we could say are healthy. And 80% of the people with these issues don't even know they have them. They don't even know that they have them. And what these are issues that are going to cause death. What they're going to cause death. So that's the heart, and that's cancer, and that's diabetes, and all the Alzheimer's. That's what we're talking about. That's where those come into play. So as we go through this, what we really our goal is that we want you to have your health line, your health span, your health go all the way to the end of your lifetime. You don't want to have too much month at the end of the money, and you don't want to have too much life at the end of your health. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm 73, and I expect to be able to be a 5-generation family. That means I got another 20 or so years to go. I'll be the first male in my family to go 5 generations, John, and that'll be kind of cool. So we're going to look at what's going on and what are the problems. Now, I've got a 73 years of running around on this planet, and I'm going to tell you, I've seen some changes. Now, John, you're a young pup, and so you've lived on the other side. You lived on that side. And I know you're a young pup because I could coach you when I was coaching. You're a pup. But anyway, if you look at pictures of us as youth, if you look at pictures of my grandparents and my family and that kind of stuff, if you look at that and you look at us, and you compare it to the people now, just looking at photos, do you think that my parents, my grandparents were better at counting calories? Were they better at counting carbs? Were they better at going to the gym? Not even close. Nothing like that. So what's changed? If you just simply look at photographs, what has truly changed is what? Our food. Our food has changed. And of 83% had all the food. When you go through the grocery store, 83% of the food that you see in there is now highly processed, highly toyed with, highly monkeyed with, highly boxed and bagged for profit. Do you think, well, let's just look at it. When I was a kid, we didn't have grass-fed beef. Are you kidding me? We had beef. And that's what we had. And we didn't have pasture eggs, free-range eggs, we had eggs. We ate eggs. We ate real vegetables. We didn't have organically raised. No, we had food. We had literally food. We didn't have to be told that something was natural. I didn't have to read, oh, it's natural. There ain't nothing natural in the box, guys. Nothing. It's not. Anyway, sorry. I got on my high horse for a second there. But the thing is let's look at the history of food. Just real quick. Let's look at a real quick history of food. Well, back in the day, there was a drug called tobacco, and there was cigarettes, right? And there was also guys that manufactured cigarettes were really, really good at advertising. Because if you think about it, how could smoking be good for you? I mean, just give me a second. Just work with me on this. I mean, think about if a house is on fire, are you going to sit in there and smell that because it's really good for you? No, you're out the heck out of there. You don't want to be in the smoke at a bonfire. So why in the heck would you want to do this? Well, it became addictive, right? It was an addiction. Now, there was a study done with lab animals, rats, where they took a street drug and they got the rats addicted to the street drug. Okay? Then they took and gave them sugar water. Now, they got addicted to the sugar water such that they left the street drug. It's more addictive. Okay. Now what happened was the tobacco guys realized that the addictive power of it, now up to 20% of the volume of a cigarette was sugar. They even aspirated it. Yeah. Think about that. Now, this changed in 1950 because that's when they started to regulate advertising. And then 18-year-olds and that kind of stuff. So you had to be older. So what happened? Well, let's look at what happened in the future. About the same time now, they removed fiber from our food. Fiber was pulled out of our food. Now, why was fiber pulled out of the food? So that would last longer. It had a longer shelf life. Think about that. If the shelf life of something can go up, what's your life do? It goes down. It's a reverse. But they needed to have the shelf life go because food was going over to the theater for war. So it had to have a higher shelf life. That's why that was there. And then about that same time became the hydrolyzation of oil. So what happened was they invented a way to put hydrogen, infuse hydrogen into liquid oils and solidify it. Solidify it. Look at your peanut butter. If you look at a jar of peanut butter, it's hydrolyzed. Look at natural peanut butter. If you look at a jar of natural peanut butter, if you make your own butters out of nuts, they're going to stratify. The solids will go to the bottom, the oils go to the top. Well, if you hydrolyze it, now you have a solid. So what happened was that the hydrolyzation of oil, what happened was there's two guys, one's Procter and one's Gamble. You may have heard of them. One was from England and one was Scotland. What happened was they came to the United States, and one's a candlestick maker and one's a soap manufacturer. And they happened to marry two sisters in Cincinnati. That's how they actually met. And so they were using before? They're using animal fat in the house to create soaps and candles. Well, those things were getting short, and they found cottonseed oil. Now, cottonseed oil is a toxic byproduct at the time. But they were going to start figuring, well, can we use it for soap? Well, we need to get it solidified. Can we do it with this? Can we do it with that? They hydrolyzed it. And you know what they came up with? Something that they could put in a can that had a shelf life. And it was called Crisco. Crisco. Now, Crisco has a long shelf life. And they said it's digestible. That's how they marketed it, John. They say, hey, it's digestible. And what does that tell you? Nothing. That means it's going to slide through your system. It doesn't mean that there's it's sliding through. It's gluten slider there, you know. And so that gluten slider, that Crisco, now to make it marketable, they had to demonize what? Lard, butter, fats. They demonized that because it didn't have as long a shelf life. Look what we can do. We can be on the shelf for years. Like, really? And then I'm supposed to eat it? Then what they did is they went to the American Heart Association, and the American Heart Association got $1.7 million on one end, and now the other end comes out, it's heart healthy. So now you get this hydrolyzed oil that is now heart healthy. Now what could you do? Well, you could say, well, fats make you fat and demonize the fat. They get pushed out, and now you have what? More hydrolyzation. Now you have more oils that come out, like what? Canola oil, which is rapeseed oil. It's horrible for you. And all the other seed oils. Vegetable oil. There is no vegetable in vegetable oil. That's been long since cooked out. Anyway, so that's a whole other animal. So then what happened is that the next thing that infected the American diet was there was this guy that had a cereal company. Now, this guy that had a cereal company needed to have something to sell more cereal. And so you know what he came up with, the slogan? The most important meal of the day is breakfast. Breakfast. So breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Well, it's true that it is important that you at some point in time break your fast, but there's nowhere does it say it needs to be at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock with a bowl of cornflakes and bananas and orange juice or oatmeal that all do one thing, which is spike your blood sugar. If you spike your blood sugar after, and that's your first meal after fasting because you haven't eaten all night, it's going to go up and your kids are going to crash. And all of a sudden, the kids have attention deficit syndrome, or they have attention deficit, and all the other kinds of things. They just spiked, and their attitude goes down. They go up here, they're hyper, and then they crash, and then they're lazy, and all that good stuff. So that's what happened with the most important meal of the day. Now, media gets involved. Then how does media get involved? Then we start having Saturday morning cartoons as the TV, the television. In other words, they tell you with your vision what you need to buy, what you need to eat, where you need to go, what you need to drive, what you need to smoke, and all the other kind of stuff. What kind of pills you need to take. My wife, I think I'll keep her Geritol and those kind of things. They start telling you what to do. Big media comes along, and then they start having cartoons, which is Saturday morning for kids. And all of those were bought by what? The cereal companies, Tony and Captain and Toucan and all the Pops and all those things, so that when you and Mom went to the store, all those boxes were at your eye level. Mommy, 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 I want. And they were all Toyland colored to attract it. And you didn't really want, you were just getting addicted to it. You were visually addicted to it and salivatory addicted to it. And then what happens is now we've got that going on. Now, tobacco's getting more and more regulated. They've got an idea of media. They've got an idea of sugar. You know what they did? John, they went and bought almost all of the food companies. Did you know that? Almost all of the food companies were owned by R.J. Reynolds, American Tobacco, Altria. All those were bought and owned by the cigarette companies, the tobacco companies. Now you got guys that made what? Tobacco addictive. They understand sugar. They understand shelf life, right? They understand media and how to get you to buy more. They have chemists going out of there yesterday and tomorrow that they can make food highly palpable. They took fiber out. They can add stuff in. Like, what are they going to add? Well, to make highly palpable food, so it's addictive, they add what? Oils, salt, sugar, and starches. They don't add fiber. The fiber is nowhere to be found. So now that sugar and that salt and those oils, that starch all do what? Spike you again. Do you think they sat around and say, how could we make this food the most nutritious ever? Or do you think they sat around and said, hey, what can we do to make this the most profitable ever? Yes, exactly. So that's what happened. They made highly palpable food. They use omega-6, which is the seed oils, right? And the carbohydrates. That's the starches. So then about 1972, 73, now we get the high fructose corn syrup. John, you've never lived without high fructose corn syrup. Plus all the highly palpable foods. After 70s and then we get into the 80s, tobacco leaves and sells out. And so really what's going to happen is now big pharma comes in and big ag. And so what it looks like is this. Now we have these 9, 10 companies that control all of your food in the wake of the tobacco that put it there ready for you now. So what it is, we are trapped between this, because we got to eat, and these guys over here waiting for you. Think about it. This is a no-win scenario for you unless you have some help, some controls. So it's not necessarily your fault. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're undisciplined. You have got two things fighting against you. And you have advertising, media, banging it all. So when we look at, this is kind of what happens. Guys. This is me called Mr. Belly So Big. And inside of everyone is trapped a body. Inside of all of these people, there's one of these. Think about that for half a second. So food got me into this mess. Food will get me out. So I want to show you, this is the proof of what I've been able to do. This is 107 days on the protocol that we found. And this is me even smaller than I'm over here. Here I'm not quite 30 inches. Now I'm at 28. The one expense of this program is you have to get a new wardrobe. That's the real cost here. So I've gone through diet whack-a-mole, John, and I don't know if you have, but I've got whack-a-mole. I have been in and out of up and down all these programs and more. This is 30-some programs right here. From Jenny to Mediterranean, they're by people's names, Jenny and Seattle and weight, and Nutri, and that kind of stuff, to areas, Mediterranean and the vegan and the South Beach and the Asian and the glycemic and the Mayo and the Metafast and all the drink ones and the Atkins and paleo and keto and raw food and 30 days and this. I have literally played diet whack-a-mole. And so have you. And the thing is that we are all striving. We all want help. We want to try to find something that'll work. And we have become ultimately frustrated. Ultimately frustrated. We're trying to find something that works. But here's the issue. Here's the issue. Hungry always wins. And you fail. You think short term. Think January 1st. I'm going to do this on your New Year's resolution. I'm going to give up this, or I'm going to go there, or I'm going to do this, right? And it lasts what? January 2nd, January 3rd. One day, there you go. Or you go all or nothing. It's all or nothing. I can do this. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do it. And then you fail. And then you feel guilt. Or you're going to do it on your own and your friends start teasing you and laughing at you like, yeah, right. You think you can make it? No. And they don't support you. And now you're all by yourself. And then depression sets in, right? The loneliness sets in. And now what do? Now you're all by yourself and you're in your own head going around. And then some people think, all right, I'm going to go work my butt off. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But you know what? You can't out-exercise poor diet. You can't out-exercise poor food choices. And then you have poor sleep and stress and everything. Hormones matter. And people take pills. It just doesn't work. So we need help. And so there's a thing called insulin resistance. And insulin resistance comes because of too much insulin. And what happens is, guys, we never get to the root cause of the issue. So I'm going to just bounce over here. And I want to show you that, again, there's Lyme disease. I had Lyme disease. Let's go. Come on. Come on, slides. Why aren't slides coming? There we go. Why aren't my slides coming? I don't know. My slides aren't coming. I'm going to remove it. Let's come out there. Let's add back to the stage. Hi, John. Let's see what happens here. There we go. There we go. That's our buddy John. That's 300 pounds over there. That's him on the protocol. There's me at 28. All right. Here's John. Look what he's done on the protocol. Isn't that great? Here's our Andrea. Love Andrea. She's awesome. Look at her. Younger. Look at that works. Here's A. Marie. Great friend. Here's Dr. Kenny. Here's Dr. Kenny. Like 30 days apart. Here's his wife. She suffered from PCOS for 20 years. 2 months on the protocol. PCOS gone. Here's Vicky. Vicky's a type 1 diabetic. She's cut her insulin back down by 80%, I believe. She's fasted. She's done all kinds of things. Do you think she's feeling better, looking better? And that's injecting insulin. Insulin is a growth hormone. Here's Corrine. She's a type 1 diabetic as well on insulin. She's cut her insulin down almost half. Here's almost 80-year-old Cheryl. And she's on the protocol because insulin resistance, type 3 diabetes is Alzheimer's. And her twin sister 18 years ago died of Alzheimer's. And this is for prevention. This is Kelly. Now, Kelly's been on product for not quite 2 months now, and she's down over 20 pounds. Hey, there's John. Hey, John. There you are, buddy. Do you feel better?
Hey, totally.
And how about your shirts? Do you feel a little bit looser?
Yeah, actually, they feel looser, and I just feel slimmer.
There you go. And how's your
Firmer.
what do people notice about you?
Well, other than the cheerful, it's just like my knees don't hurt when I stand up, and
Cool.
what was the other thing? Like walking, just like walking, just like my walking has improved. Just a little bit more aggressive. So it's just an overall, just a good thing, and I really can't wait until. So I'm like halfway done with this box, and then I think I'll do the other box. That'll be 90 days, and then I want to do like a fasting blood glucose check and see what those changes are.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think I'm sleeping better. And I figured out this. I think I finally figured it out, like what I have to do and what it has to feel like, and so I can, fast the way I need to fast to lose the weight. So
perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Is it just
Pablo,
you and me?
You were Pablo in that picture, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? The kids that I went with, they were like 12 to 16, maybe a couple 18-year-olds, had no idea who he was. They're all like Lackey and whatever. Had no idea who this world record holder and, how many times NCAA champ and multiple events. And I'm like, just see ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I can tell, ever since we started this, I can tell that your face and even that one picture where you're moving your waist out, I can tell that you've lost weight since we've been doing this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what John and I are talking about is we're on a protocol that's been researched and has dozens of studies from the Cleveland Clinic to BYU. It's approved in Health Canada, and you can look up our protocol in the physician's desk reference. It's also not a prescriber's digital reference. And if you're on any medication, I double dog dare you to look up the side effects of what you're taking. Look it up in the PDR. I just tell you that. You'll find that what our protocol is 100% natural, and you'll see that there's no negative interactions. There's no contradictions of any kind. I'm just going to leave it at that. The Cleveland Clinic, which is the #1 heart hospital in the world, 1991, on the fiber product, which has 4 patents on it. Nobody can imitate it. No one can create it. The pharmaceutical industry would love to have our product, and this is the reason they want it, is because it says from the Cleveland Clinic, such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Wow. It is a plant natural statin. There's nothing else in the world like this. Nothing. We have it. It's our protocol. And then we start looking at, well, what about blood sugar? Well, let's do a stress. Well, actually, other than stress, let's just do it what the normal breakfast would be. So in the lab, we said, okay, people, here, I'm going to give you 2 Eggo waffles, 2 tablespoons of syrup, and 10 ounces of oranges. We're going to give you 420 calories and 51 grams of sugar. Let's just see what happens. Well, with our product, with the protocol, it lowers that spike by 43%. The #1 selling drug doesn't hit 30. This plant, natural, patented, lowers it by 43%. More effective than the number one selling drug in the world. And nobody knows about it. So what we're talking about is our tea, Uno Mate tea. And you may have heard of mate tea. You may even see cans in grocery stores and things like that, yerba mate. They're yellow and whatever, and they're about $3 a can, whatever. And it brags about because it's yerba mate tea. Well, ours is patented. Ours is controlled. Our leaves and our tea are handpicked. They are handpicked, and there's a patented 5-step process that extracts. It's an extract, concentrated extract, 375% more potent. And what it can do is that those people that are getting injections increases their natural GLP-1 by 60% with no side effects. Your body naturally produces GLP-1. It's a natural produced in the gut. This tea increases it naturally for pennies compared to hundreds and takes it up by 60%. Just saying. Given the choice, would you rather have something natural with no side effects, or, well, you get it. So the big deal here, guys, I'm going to give you something for free, is if you want free and you want help, the free thing is F off. Fast, order of food, fiber, fats, protein. Leave carbs away. And you can see right here the spike that your carbohydrates have. You can see the low elevation that fats will have. And that's fats and proteins. So it's a healthier choice to do that. So I already said we have 5 patents. We have clinical studies. It's safe. It's natural. It's been around. Our fiber's been around since 1990. We did the right there in 1991 was when the Cleveland Clinic got a hold of it and said that. The Uno Mate, and we brought the program together to the protocol the way we are now in 2021. We're a privately held company. We own the patents. We own all the manufacturing. We own all the distribution. We have our own 2 research laboratories. We are self-contained, and we have no debt. The only way people can get this is retail through Amazon for about $70 more than what we pay in our distribution channel. So we have there's 4 patents on the fiber. We talked about that. Is there a solution? Yes. And here's what it is, guys. So we have you fast, which is a natural thing to do. Skip the breakfast. Skip the breakfast. You could break your fast at 11, 1, 2, whenever you're hungry. You don't have to eat by the clock. You don't have to eat by the clock. And John, you've found that it's kind of easier to just smooth on through, isn't it? You don't need to eat right away when you get up, now, do you?
No, I, actually, like today, I had my tea this morning and I didn't eat until 3, but I could have gone longer. I wasn't even hungry.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And isn't it amazing? This is an aid. It's a help. It's food. Food helping food. Food got us into this mess. Food would get us out of it. And so our protocol is that we drink 2 teas, 2 Uno Mate teas. When we're not eating, we're drinking the tea. And with our biggest meal, we have the balance, which is the fiber. So they took the fiber out. We're putting fiber back in. We need some willpower in a tube to help us move through the day without all those snacks. Because most people eat 6, 7, 8 times a day. They're in snacking and drinking and snacking and drinking and snacking and drinking and eating. We eat twice a day, maybe, right? So why this works, guys, is that it gets to the root cause of the disease. It really gets to the root cause of this metabolic issue. And the counter of it is that, well, you could be on medicine, and medicine say you're broke, you're broken, and you're going to be on this forever. So you lose control and you lose hope. The Feel Great system allows you to restore your body to its natural function. You get confidence and not dependence. That's the big thing that we deal with here. It makes lifestyle changes easy. It helps promote sustainable habits. It's a crutch. It's a crutch. We can eat how we want. We encourage everybody to fast. You don't have to, but we encourage you to fast, and it's easy to do. So then you now have fat burning going on longer, and then you have the fiber to lower the blood sugar spikes. You have the tea, which helps increase the GLP-1, or it silences the food noise, is really what it does. And so part of the thing is I just want to say why this works is because it's natural, it's effective, it goes to the root cause, it supports real change, adaptable and simple. And I'll wrap this up with this, is that in 107 days, well, my story, my main story, my fast speed story is that in October, my blood glucose was 834 and my A1C was 18.1, and that means I should have been dead, literally dead, or in a coma. Right? Minimally, I should have been hospitalized. That's the facts. God saved me for a reason. I guess bug John and to help let people not go through what I've gone. Guys, at day 107 on the protocol, my fasting blood glucose was 90. My A1C had come down to 7.2. I have no blood pressure medications. I was never on any diabetic medications during this journey. All I have is a protocol. The same thing as John does. Now, the company is great because they actually give you a referral link. If you know John, reach out to him. He's got a referral link. And if you get on the protocol, you'll have a link as well that you can share with people. Of course, I have a link, but the idea is that we want to make you healthy. We want to help you not go through what we've gone through. So I want to thank you, John, for coming on with me tonight. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, buddy?
Sounds good. Thanks, George.
You bet.
Have a good night.
You too.